got mail.
Hi, I'm Millie Tamaras.
And I'm Alise Morales.
And this is
Go Touch Grass!
The podcast where we log in
so you can log off.
Alise and I are two chronically online comedians, and on this pod, we break down the week in internet discourse, viral memes, TikTok trends, and niche influencer drama so that you can literally do anything else.
Literally anything else. And if you like what you hear today and you want to hear more, we've got to Go Touch Grass Patreon with tons more content weekly, access to our Discord community, and our spin-off series, Search History, where we go back and break down a viral discourse from the past. You're going to be getting a taste of Search History today. I don't want to tip the bit, but this episode is part, regular recording, part re-released Search History. So you will have a chance to see what is popping on our Patreon just by sticking around and doing what you're doing right now.
And don't forget to leave us a 5-star rating and review. We love your reviews. We need more of them. But really, the best review you can do is to tell your friends, tag us in a little story. We'll repost it. You know we're online. We're always here.
We are. We're online right now. We're recording virtually. So it's like we're literally actively online in this exact second. And as you know, 2025 is the year that we have pivoted to video. We have full video episodes of our podcast uploaded every Saturday. They have little extras. They've got bonus moments. Millie puts in little cute, emphasizing things and pictures of all the stuff so that you can see it in real time. So go on over to YouTube and check that out.
Alise and I took this Monday off from recording to celebrate my birthday in the greatest city in the world, Atlantic City. Alise, any thoughts of reflections on Atlantic City? Did you enjoy? How did you feel?
I mean, I feel forever changed by the 48 hours that we spent in Atlantic City. I will say that the most surprising thing about Atlantic City was the amount of Taylor Swift music that was played everywhere that we went. It was an abnormal representation of Taylor Swift. I did get a Boardwalk Taylor Swift t-shirt, and I mean, literally everywhere we went, she was playing, and like deep cuts too, because when we were at the breakfast buffet on Saturday, they were blasting Back to December. I was like, we're doing Back to December on the boardwalk? And then at one point at the Tiki Bar, the DJ, who is actually quite good, did a remix of 22 into a remix of Blank Space
and
played Love Story. I was like, what's happening? And it wasn't a Taylor Swift themed event. Other artists were played, but none played so much as Taylor Swift. So, I just really was in my element in a really deep way. And I'm just so grateful that you brought us to Atlantic City.
Yeah, I will say, I'm not a Swiftie, but I feel like there was a lot of Taylor Swift, but tastefully done. We're talking house remixes. We're talking whatever. I had so much fun with my girls. I loved Atlantic City, but I also grew so much compassion for people that I necessarily didn't have compassion for. Like, we got a paintball gun and we shot paintballs at like Family Guy targets and stuff. And that was fun. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. Like, this is fun to shoot at things. Maybe not bullets.
Yeah.
And maybe not moving at alive creatures, but it was fun. And then also, kind of one of my favorite highlights was after like a whole full day of partying, at like 1 a.m, we went and played roulette for like an hour, 2 hours until like 2:30 in the morning. That was really fun. And like, I'm not even a gambling person. It was fun. We all played together, but it was also like, wow, I would have thought I would be like, wow, gambling can be fun.
Gambling can be fun. Yeah, I mean, I also enjoyed paintballing. I think it's safe to say that we took Quagmire out.
Yeah, Quagmire's done.
We really, every single one of us got him right between the eyes, and he'll terrorize the women of wherever Family Guy lives.
I think,
no longer. Wherever. I forget, but those women are safe now.
Yes.
Because we took him out.
Okay, speaking of safe, instead of recording a guest episode, because again, we took off for my birthday, instead of recording a guest episode, we decided to give y'all a deep dive into the documentary that changed millennials forever, Kony 2012. So
Yes.
if you are a $10 patron, you got this episode a week early. You got this episode a week ago. These are the kinds of things we do on our $10 level, where we find something from the past and deep dive. And we got into, is Invisible Children a scam or not? But before we get into that deep dive, before we play that episode that we recorded for you, we had to get on the mic hot, fresh, ready. We had to not deep dive, but wade into the biggest meme of this week.
Yeah.
Contender for biggest meme of the year. We'll see. Verdict still out.
Yeah, I mean, it's, we obviously have a lot more time left, but this hit the feeds so hard, and you guys were DMing us, tweeting at us, reaching out, saying, we need to hear your take on this, to the point that Millie and I were like, we're going to have to hop on the mic and at least add a little something to this week's episode about this, because the people, Grass Nation is looking to its leaders to speak on this.
Yes, and you know what? Grass Nation's a democracy. Democracy may be crumbling all around us, but guess what, Grass Nation? We're still here. We work for the fucking people, okay? We are out here. We work. We listen. You're heard. This, that, and the third. We are here talking about the Coldplay Kiss Cam. Okay, so Alise told you that everyone was hitting us up, but for people who don't know, also I will say shout out to, we got this really sweet YouTube comment that was like, you guys, I'm using this this podcast exactly as intended. I don't go online, but my friends are always impressed because I know what the fuck is happening. And this is exactly one of those things we had to get on because we couldn't let it get ahead to, again, what's in a meme. We can't cover every meme, but this meme has legs in terms of the political, the social discourse that is happening. But we need to get into broad strokes. So what happened? On July 16th, there was a Coldplay concert at the Gillette Stadium in Boston. I guess they have a kiss cam because that's something that happens. I'm like wondering if concerts have
I
like
think
fan
it's just
cams.
a jumbotron. Yeah, I don't even know if it was necessarily like the kiss. I think it was just like, showing the fans jumbotron. So I'm sure usually if it falls on a couple, like maybe
they kiss.
Like it can become a kiss cam.
I'm going to assume it was like a queer person's birthday, because it was a very cute person wearing a tiara, and then it pans to a couple. A woman is leaned back and the man has his arms around the woman's chest with her fingers intertwined with his. When the couple quickly realized they were on screen, the woman flung her hands over her face and quickly turned around while the man ducked out of view. This all happened on the Jumbotron cam. Everyone was laughing, whatever. So now we're going to watch the video. We told you what happened. We're going to watch the video because Chris Martin responds in the moment. Coldplay.
Yes, quite prophetically he responds in the moment.
Yeah. Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. You're okay? Oh, what? Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy. I'm not quite sure.
Either they're having an affair or he's very shy.
Really shy. Really crazy.
I feel like the untold star of that, like, entire thing, which I think I will get into it, but I think her identity has since been revealed, is the woman standing directly next to them who clearly knows them, whose face is bright fucking red as this entire thing is going on.
Yes, actually, that kind of got debunked. So with that woman being related to them or something, but anyway, we'll get to that in a second.
So she's not an employee? Okay, we'll get into it.
We'll get into it for a second because this video was posted by Instagrace and has been watched. And again, it is Tuesday, July 22nd. The concert happened. I just keep thinking about this timeline. It's crazy. Everything happens. It hasn't even been a week. The 16th, this happens. The 17th, it's posted. From the 17th until today, the 22nd, the video has 125.9. So basically 126 million views on this video, and it has 10.7 million likes. Alise, why do you think this went viral?
I think that it went viral because Chris Martin says that thing at the end. They're either having an affair or they're very shy. I feel like otherwise, the moment maybe would have passed.
Yeah, if they just held on to each other.
If they just held on to each other, I think it definitely would have passed.
Yeah.
I think the fact that they acted so suspicious, like, veered it into viral territory, and then Chris Martin saying that thing at the end about that they're probably having an affair is what, like, put the nail in the coffin of, like, you're going viral, babes. Babes, you're going viral.
Yeah, I feel like every month there's a new Jumbotron thing with some people who are cheating and hiding. Like, I feel like that always happens. But I've
never heard of it, but like I am unaware of Jumbotron related drama until this one.
I think it happens more at sports games where they show like people at a basketball game together or a football game. Somebody's hiding their face. It's just such a popular meme at this point. It's the same as like I would say like Jumbotron drama is like that's a popular Jumbotron moment. Another one is like obviously proposals. And another one is like dance offs or like a little kid.
Yeah, I was going to say little kid Jumbotron moments I'm aware of.
Dance
successful
off.
And unsuccessful proposals. But
Yeah.
this I have not seen before.
So you're saying like Chris Martin's inquiry is what got this to where it is.
I think
That's
that really pushes it over the edge because if I saw them duck and hide and Chris Martin hadn't said that, I would have maybe just been like, oh, they're shy. Like, I don't know that my mind would have immediately gone to affair, even though now that you watch it, it's like extremely obvious what's going on. But the fact that he like immediately names that is, I mean, it's catnip for internet sleuths to be like, well, who the fuck are these two? And, they're in the box or whatever, like in the special fancy area. So people know, like, okay, these are two super rich people. Let's figure out who they are. And I think a mystery also is always going to get the internet really, really going, and like cheating discourse.
Yeah.
So it's like, once Chris Martin said that and basically had put it out to the world, like maybe these two rich people in a time where we're not feeling amazing about rich people are having an affair, it's like it's checking every single box for TikTok to go fucking nuts.
I think it's also interesting that I feel like their age, like them being in their 50s and white also too is like, it's just not it's not a group of people who you would associate with going to a Coldplay concert and cheating on their spot, like taking their side piece to a Coldplay concert. Like, I think it's that too. So I think it's
that does feel white to me, though. I will say taking your side piece to a Coldplay concert feels Caucasian,
but caught on camera is not something.
The caught on camera is different, but I do think it's white culture to take your side piece to Coldplay.
Of course. So let's talk about the backlash. There was a lot of memes, and just on this, I'm gonna read 4 or 5 comments on this video, and each comment, the least like comment has 52,000 likes, and the most like comment has 829,000 likes. The one that has 829,000. It says they made it so much worse by hiding, which is what we said. It's like, had they just stood there and like whatever and like not reacted, it wouldn't have been caught on camera.
No, it would have passed completely on. And even if like somehow the video got back to this guy's wife, he might have been able to be like, it was just, we were being friendly. I mean, I wouldn't believe that if who knows what goes on between this man and his wife, but like there would be more plausible deniability if they had literally just frozen and stood there. The ducking and like going away is what makes it be like, oh, so you guys are definitely doing something you're like not supposed to be doing, right?
Yeah. Somebody said Coldplay hasn't made a single in years. Last night they made 2.
Ha ha ha.
Great.
Ha ha ha.
Someone else said they'll never be able to listen to Coldplay after this. I wouldn't. I mean,
Yeah, I do feel like this would probably ruin Coldplay for you, which is sad because Coldplay has some
bop.
real hits. Yellow, come on.
And then the last comment is, if I saw my husband cuddled up with his mistress at the Coldplay concert, I would actually be sent to the psych ward. So
I would, yeah. Yeah, I think that would be tough.
that's tough. It's tough. It is tough. So, okay. So it turns out that the 2 people. So what happens is this goes viral, gets uploaded. Immediately, everyone starts searching, trying to find who are the 2 people in this video. So the 2 people in the video were the CEO of Astronomer, an AI data company, Andy Byron, and the woman was the head of HR of Astronomer, Kristen Cabot. So again, this happened 16.
The head of HR is really, like, it's really funny for her to be the head of HR.
It's so crazy. So this is from an article from July 17th at 4 p.m. So not even 24 hours later, this is the article that came up from, of course, New York Post. So this is an excerpt. The pair appeared to work closely at Astronomer, an AI and data company valued at $1.2 billion. When Cabot was hired in November, Byron gushed about her 20 years of HR experience and, quote, exceptional leadership skills.
I bet he was gushing.
Exactly.
I bet he did gush.
Gush indeed.
Sorry.
Meanwhile, whatever. Meanwhile, Cabot wrote on LinkedIn that her conversation with Byron before her hiring had, quote, energized her about the, quote, opportunities at the company. She also boasted that she wins, quote, trust with employees of all levels, from CEOs to managers to assistants. Byron appears to be married to Megan Kerrigan Byron, while Cabot recently divorced her husband, Kenneth Thornby. I saw somewhere that they were both still married, but there is a lot of things that says like the woman was at least divorced. I think there was something about like papers were finalized in 2021.
Okay.
But I don't know if it's the same relationship that is being referred. Again, this is hot off the press. So the New York Post, that goes up July 17th, 4 p.m., not even 24 hours later. Astronomer gave their first statement of 2 by July 18th at 2:39 p.m. So now, again, less than 48 hours, the company has to respond. They said, quote, Astronomer is committed to the values and culture that have guided us since our founding. Our leaders are expected to set the standard both in conduct and accountability. The board of directors has initiated a 4-month investigation into this matters, and we will have additional details to share very shortly. So the woman that you said that people had identified, they said that the woman with her face like covered and was super red, and they're like, that was their other employee. That's Alise Stoddard. This is what Astronomer said on July 18th. They said Alise Stoddard was not at the event and no other employees were in the video. Andy Byron has not put out any statements. Reports saying otherwise are all incorrect. So it's kind of like, I think it became a meme. People found the thing, but then what also happens is, that mystery thing that causes virality, it also just loses control of itself. People are stalking this guy, whatever, and start putting other pieces together, saying that Cabot is married when legally I don't think she is. I saw something about how Byron's first wife was Byron's wife was the mistress. It was crazy, like crazy shit. So on one hand, people are like, well, why, why does a company have to get into the business of their employees? On the other hand, it's like, this is a $1.2 billion company. It's their CEO, and people are saying like crazy shit about their employees. Like, people weren't even there, so they had to like.
Well, yeah, like massive attention is now on your company, whether you like it or not, and on the leadership of the company. And if random other employees who weren't actually in the video are being named as having been in the video, like, I do think that's also important, because where I had heard was that other woman was an employee, like the woman that I mentioned whose face is all red. I was always hearing that people were like, she's actually the head of HR's assistant and has worked with her for years, like so much stuff. So it's like, to find out that it's like, no, that's actually a different woman. I do think the company they have to say something.
They have to say something, and say something they did, because they posted a second statement on July 19th at 2:38 p.m. already. So I'm just going to look at the calendar, because I feel like July 16th was a Wednesday. Hold on. July 16th was a Wednesday night. This is when this happened. Thursday, the article comes out. Friday, the first statement. Saturday at 2:38 p.m., this comes out by astronomer saying, as stated previously, astronomers committed to the values and culture that have guided us since our founding. Our leaders are expected to set that standard in both conduct and accountability, and recently that standard was not met. Andy Byron has tendered his resignation, and the board of directors has accepted. The board will begin a search for our next chief executive, as co-founder and chief product officer Pete DeJoy continues to serve as interim CEO. Before this week, we were known as a pioneer in the data ops space, helping data teams power everything from modern analytics to production AI. While awareness of our company may have changed overnight, our product and our work for our customers have not. We are continuing to do what's best, helping our customers with their toughest data and AI problems. So, discuss.
Well, I mean, yeah, I just feel like anyone who's saying the company should have said nothing is very naive, because this got so. I mean, this is one of the most viral things I've seen in a long, long time. I mean, you're talking, what was it, 125 million views or something?
And again, for scale, like, the most popular event of the year in America is Super Bowls, right? So the Super Bowl, I feel like the Super Bowl got similar. I'm going to look up Super Bowl 2025 viewership. I feel like it's either 125. So Super Bowl has 127 million viewers. And again,
Okay, so basically a full Super Bowl
Super
audience
Bowl.
has seen this.
And again,
You
it
gotta
hasn't
say
even been a
something.
week. It hasn't even been a week. So
Yeah, like, you have to say something, because it actually is implicating the company. Not like that, like, because the CEO had an affair, they can't do whatever it is this company does. I don't even really understand it. But, like, your CEO and your head of HR have gone massively, massively viral for having a very obvious affair. And people are like feral digging into their personal information and also the information about everyone else at your company to try to like loop anyone that possibly can be looped into this. So yeah, the company has to say something.
And I will say, from my understanding, I could be wrong, but from my understanding of this is that anybody can go to ChatGPT, like we said, and jack off, like our friend Chris Smith. Anyone can go and get like an avatar. But when you get these private AI companies, what they do is basically they make custom AI bots for companies, so that all the information that the AI person, like the AI model, generates is private. Because
Yeah.
right now, anything you put into ChatGPT is like ChatGPT owns and they use.
Yeah.
So it's all about kind of like, you want these people who are at the edge of technology, but also that are serious and like respect privacy and like aren't sloppy. And at the end of the day, somebody who's fucking employees is sloppy and messy, and like you got $1.2 billion. So people are like, a lot of people are like, why is it anyone's business? Why is it the company's business what people do? And it's like, when you're that high up and you have that much money on the line, you have to speak to investors. And like, again, Alise, if you give me $200 to run a business and then you find out I'm fucking all my employees, you're going to be like, well, what's going on with my $200? So,
Well, yeah, and also it's like a lot of contracts for jobs and stuff have like good behavior clauses, and a lot of those exist just to be like, there is a way in which someone can fuck up so bad that it like reflects poorly on the place that employs them. And I think that this reached that level. I don't think that someone should be fired for having an affair. Like, whatever. If someone's the CEO of a company and it just comes out that they had an affair, I don't think they should be fired. But it's all the other details surrounding it. It's that the affair is with your head of HR, which is a massive, massive conflict of interest for the head of HR and like what the head of HR is supposed to do. What if someone has a complaint about him? Like, that's
yeah,
not
exactly. And
good.
companies and like settlements, lawsuits, whatever, like it's not good.
Yeah, like
So-
that's just a massive liability to the company in general. And then the fact, yeah, that they did it brazenly in a public forum, in a public space. It's not like someone was peering into their bedroom window and like took surreptitious photos of them or whatever. They were at a concert with thousands of people
60,000 people.
in a private box, and the concert has a jumbotron that randomly shows audience members, and like people who are in the private boxes are the most likely people to be shown on that because it's easy to get like a shot of them. So
Yeah.
like, you're an idiot. You're stupid.
Yeah. No, he's a fucking idiot. So the new interim CEO, he posted, I just feel like one of the funniest, very like crazy I don't know. It's just so, it's so LinkedIn. So again, this went viral on TikTok. On TikTok, it got 127 million views. On Instagram, like this shit is on Instagram. It's on Twitter. It's on every platform. And the new interim CEO had put this on LinkedIn. I'm just going to read a few paragraphs. Moving forward at Astronomer, from Pete DeJoy, and this was from yesterday on my birthday. Over the weekend, I stepped into the role of interim CEO at Astronomer, a company that I've proudly poured my entire professional life into helping build. Over the past 2 years, our business has experienced incredible growth. What was once a mission to help companies with Apache Airflow has turned into so much more. We're privileged to sit at the center of our customers' data and AI strategy, powering data pipelines behind in-game analytics of your favorite sports teams, LLM-powered chatbots for customer support, training AI for self-driving cars, and every mission-critical process in between. The events of the past few days have received a level of media attention that few companies, let alone startups in our small corner of the data and AI world, ever encountered. The spotlight has been unusual and surreal for our team, and while I would have never wished for it to happen like this, Astronomer is now a household name. At Astronomer, we never shied away from challenges. A near decade of building this business has tested us time and time again. Each time we've emerged stronger. From starting a software company in Cincinnati, Ohio, to keeping the lights on through the collapse of the bank that held all our cash, to scaling from 30 to 300 people during a global pandemic that demanded we do it all without ever being in the same room. And yet, we're still here. We're here because Astronomer is built by people who live to solve hard problems. I don't know. The rest is just like.
I mean, it is funny to see corporate speak applied to this. I mean, it's, what else are you gonna do? Yeah, I mean, I guess everyone does know the name of your company now, and they did fire the person or whatever, and so it's like, maybe they will get some clients out of this if someone was like looking for an AI company and they're like, well, now I've heard of one.
Well, yeah, but I guess it's just so funny that it's like, it literally is the template for a LinkedIn post, like the meme of the LinkedIn
Yes.
post where it's like, here's something traumatic that happened to me, and this is what it has to do with B2B sales. So it's like, that's what I thought was so funny about this excerpt was, or whatever, is like, hey, I've worked really hard on this company and we have obstacles. But it's like, the obstacle was that your CEO was fucking the HR
head,
person.
like
Not like supply demand issues, bitch.
Exactly. That's like it. What is so funny about it is it's the like corporate tone, while knowing that what they're talking about is that your CEO went viral because his affair with your HR head was exposed on the Jumbotron at a Coldplay concert.
So, yeah. So we'll wrap this up with two different opinions.
Okay.
So first, we have an article in MSNBC by Christina Wyman, the author of the novel Jawbreaker. The news cycle, memes, and parodies that immediately ensued have been impossible to avoid. Some might argue that it feels good to expose and drag a couple of alleged cheaters who many believe got exactly what they deserve. Parentheses, so far, at least one half of the Kiss Cam couple is already feeling more tangible consequences. Astronomer CEO Andy Byron resigned over the weekend. But I'm far more disturbed by the nature and scope of the backlash. To be clear, I have profound empathies for the families at the center of this mess. Thankfully, I was an adult before I learned about how my own family was rocked by infidelity years earlier. Every detail shared with me was shocking, sordid, and sad, but I got to process it privately. There was no rabid internet mob waiting to make my family suffer as much and for as long as possible. Decades later, I would find myself in therapy dealing with the fallout of a dysfunctional childhood in all its gory details, but it was never because of the court of public opinion inserted into my home life. To say that the families at the center of the spectacle, and most unfortunately their children, are likely to be humiliated and traumatized is an understatement. The damage is done. I don't envy their loved ones and what they must be going through as a result of the event, made worse by the morality brigade that sped to find their social media profiles and post messages of sympathy, self-righteousness, or spite. The social media user who posted the original clip has expressed few regrets for upending a series of lives. Her Venmo and Cash App handles on fullest display on her profile. Every consequence that society has decided this pair should endure may not be what their families want or need. Families weather all kinds of storms and subscribe to all kinds of values and belief systems. Not only do we not know what should happen next, but it's absolutely none of our business. And yet, when we like, repost, and reshare, we also share responsibility for the collective damage. So that is one opinion, and the
Okay.
other opinion is by the girl who actually recorded it. And and this is from page 6, again, Satan. And it says, Coldplay fan reveals how much she made a viral kiss cam of Andy Byron and Kristen Cabot. And then it says, I've actually made no money from the video itself or the views, Grace Springer revealed to host Allison Hammond. It's not monetized, she explained. I definitely feel bad for Andy's wife, Megan, his family, and everyone who has been hurt in the process, she said. But as I said, there was over 50,000 people, and I'm not the only one that caught it on camera. So if it wasn't me who uploaded it, I'm sure someone else would have. Her statement echoed what she told The Sun last week when asked about turning Byron and Cabot's, quote, lives upside down. I had no idea who the couple was, just thought I caught an interesting reaction to the kiss cam and decided to post it. Part of me feels bad for turning these people's lives upside down, but play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Yup.
I hope their partners can heal from this and get a second chance at happiness they deserve with their future still full in front of them. I hope for them my video was a blessing in disguise. So what say you? Is everyone responsible for the destruction of this family, or should have the girl who posted it monetized even?
I honestly would not fault her for monetizing the video. Here's the thing, like she said, this happened at a concert with 50,000 people at it on the Jumbotron.
Yeah.
the affair was thoroughly exposed. This is a time in which all of us know that social media exists. So, like, no. Do I think that random people who are minding their own business should be filmed in public or like exposed or blah, blah, blah? No, but this isn't that. This happened on the Jumbotron at a concert with 50,000 people at it. So, number one, it's not the internet's fault that these families' lives were ruined. It's their dumbass father, and to a lesser but not insignificant extent, the HR woman who knew that she was having an affair with a man who has a wife and children. Like, that's on them. That the family's being ruined is because they were having an affair and they did it in an incredibly brazen and irresponsible manner, and then don't even have like their heads on straight to not act so insanely suspicious when they're on the Jumbotron. Like, they exposed themselves on the Jumbotron in front of 50,000 people. It's not the person who posted the video's fault. It's not like the Jumbotron operator's fault. It's not Chris Martin's fault. It's their fault. Did the internet maybe go too far in like trying to find unrelated people or like reporting quote unquote facts about these people that weren't correct? And I mean, this goes back to the Love Island discussion, but like, I do not know why you would be going to his family members' personal pages to say anything like that. That's wild. Some of those people, grasshole behavior, go touch grass, etc. But the core thing that caused this is the very stupid public affair that these two people were having at an incredibly public event.
When I read this, I'm like, okay, so Christina cheated. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, okay, so you cheated and you feel bad. No, and I guess like, I do think that we are having a conversation because there's always going to be people who take it too far. And we are having a conversation about, okay, parasocial relationship, respecting people's privacy and all of that. But reposting and resharing a meme of like a funny meme does not mean that I'm like damaging someone's family. There are things that I feel like are unethical. Like, you know, when someone who is going through a mental health episode gets like reposted and all the stuff, which we talk about in
American Women in Pakistan.
In American Women in Pakistan, but also in Kony 2012, when, you know, the breakdown happens and TMZ shot all this stuff. It's like, but again, I'm like, you're publicly cheating. Like, this kind of like them's the breaks, dogs. That's why you don't take your side piece to the Coldplay concert and get out, you know, and get all cuddly. Like, this is one thing that could happen. So I just thought that these were interesting perspectives. And also, like, whether you believe that this should have been posted in the first place or not, I saw something else that was like, Coldplay should apologize to that couple. And
no.
Like, no, fuck you.
No. Chris Martin, it's not his fault that, you know, he clocked what was going on. And I'm sure in the moment he like had no fucking clue that actually they were having an affair. I think he just, you know, off the dome said some shit and it turned out Chris Martin knows what he's talking about. Chris Martin's plugged in. So anyway, we wanted to get on really quick. I mean, this is going to be like a 2-hour episode. Yeah.
Included.
So,
but it's a great birthday gift for you guys.
Yes.
It's our birthday gift for Crastination.
Yes.
That we're talking about. Honestly, I think the theme is misled white people.
Yeah. So, you guys write in and let us know what you think the thematic connections are between this Coldplay story.
And now we have our Kony 2012 deep dive. All right. Hello. And welcome to
Go Touch Grass. I feel like we're both in a really good mood right now. And we're about to talk about something so crazy.
You know what? I thought it was going to be like, I want you to hear it, but it's kind of like, we're going to talk about Kony 2012.
Yes.
And I think, I don't know. I feel like I can understand why it fell out the way that it did, but with 2025 lenses,
Yeah.
it's going to be really interesting. I'm going to be hearing if you think that the ire was deserved.
Yeah, I'm very interested because so we decided like, oh my God, this is like the perfect search history episode. Then we knew we were going to record. And then I made a conscious decision not to re-up any of my Kony 2012 knowledge between then and now. I obviously remember it and remember things, but I was like, I don't want to I want to become refamiliarized from what your research.
Yeah, and I think like for me, before I researched, to me, and I brought it up on episodes, like somebody from my college, like my college was super small. My class, like the class that I went to started, it's class of 20 redacted. And like it was only 100 people or 100, 120 people. So you knew everyone really well. And then, like if one person or three people drop out, which is normal for any college, and like actually percentage wise is lower than what's normal at a normal big college, but it would be a big deal. And everyone, and like that person would come visit on campus all the time and all that stuff. So Tino wants peanut butter. So yeah, somebody dropped out of school of our freshman class to join the Invisible Children thing. So at the time, I remember leaving those things. We'll talk about it. Inspired, and then I didn't hear anything, and then I heard like that the owner went crazy and they misuse all the money and they're bad.
Yeah, that's what I remember. That's basically the contours of what I remember is that it was this campaign to get this warlord who had child soldiers.
Yeah.
And it really blew up and there was a bunch of merch and there was like going to be a march or something.
Yeah.
And then it fizzled out and then something crazy happened with the owner and there was something with the money, but that's like all I remember about it.
Yeah. So now that we talked about, so I just feel like, like we'll get into it.
Okay. I'm excited. I'm ready.
So the Ugandan conflict. So, okay.
All right. Locking in.
Yeah. I feel like the way that I'm telling this is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
So first I'm going to tell the backstory of like Kony 2012 Big Broad Strokes is a documentary made by these three guys who had a nonprofit that they made. And the nonprofit's cause is behind this Ugandan conflict. I'm going to first tell you about the Ugandan conflict, and then we're going to go through Invisible Children and all that.
Yeah.
But I think you need to kind of understand this background before we get into it. The fact that I had to formulate a story structure.
Yeah.
This is,
this is a deep search history.
Okay. In 1985, Ugandan dictator Apollo Milton Obote was overthrown by his own military commanders. Although he was from the Lango ethnic group, the soldiers who made up his army were primarily from the Acholi region in northern Uganda. He was replaced by Tito Okello, the president of Uganda, who was Acholi. Okello was deposed in 1986, and the leader of the National Resistance Army, Yoweri Museveni, became president after, quote, questionable elections. The Acholi were resistant to the authority of the new president who, quote, launched a brutal search and destroy mission against former government soldiers throughout the north, which swept up many innocent Acholi in its wake. Several resistance groups emerged and were also put down. But the LRA survived. And LRA is a different group. So in the early 2000s, media attention was drawn to the region when thousands of children affected by the LRA activities took refuge in Gulu, Uganda. The government of Uganda forced the Acholi into, quote, what were effectively concentration camps, quote, and these camps were ridden with diseases and inhabitants were not able to continue farming. The attention the conditions in Uganda received revealed that over the previous 20 years, the LRA was abducting children and using them as kadogu, which means child soldiers, a practice in which the Museveni government had also engaged.
Okay.
In 2005, an arrest warrant was issued for Joseph Kony by the International Criminal Court for, quote, crimes against humanities and war crimes. After failed peace negotiations with the Ugandan government in 2006, the LRA left Uganda, retreating to southern Sudan, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and the Central African Republic, where they continued to, quote, wreak havoc. In May 2010, President Barack Obama signed the Lord's Resistance Army Disarmament and Northern Ugandan Recovery Act.
Okay, so the LRA is the Lord's Resistance Army, and Kony is in charge of
the
them.
LRA.
Okay.
And the law deployed U.S. troops to the region in October 2011. And then the UN Security Council met and discussed things with the LRA. And they still have some stuff going on. So that's kind of the background.
Okay.
Right? I'm going to try to even condense that even more. The government kind of took out this one ethnic leader and replaced it with a guy who didn't like people of that ethnicity. There was a rebel group. The rebel group was like Joseph Kony became in charge of it. He did some really fucked up things, but it come out that the government also did some really fucked up things. Like,
yeah,
you know,
it's a bad conflict that happened.
International conflict that's complicated.
Yes.
So now let's go to Invisible Children. So the main guy, and the guy that kind of is the center of this, is this guy named Jason Russell.
Okay.
So he's the younger son of Cheryl and Paul Russell, and his parents are the co-founders of a Christian youth theater, which Russell was a part of as a child. I feel like the fact that he's like in theater groups and also like Christian theater.
Christian youth theater is I'm getting a picture painted for me for sure.
Yeah. That was my life, he said. It was what everyone around me did. I didn't even think about it. I did my first show at 8, and I've done over 20 plays since. You can't do this if you don't like it. You have to commit yourself to it. So it's also so important to note that Russell graduated from USC School of Cinematic Arts. I'll say that USC probably is one of the best schools in the country for cinema.
Yeah.
So very
prestigious.
Very prestigious
situation.
Like, whatever, right? So, that's the main guy, and now we're going to get into Invisible Children. Any thoughts so far?
Well, I mean, it's just funny because, like, so much is coming back to me in general. Like, well, I also just remember, I think it must have been around this time that I read, there's a novel called What is the What that is about child soldiers that was very popular. I feel like also around this time, maybe. I'm not 100% sure, but I just think that, like, it's reminding me that this conflict, like, was in the air and was something people were talking about.
Yeah.
And there was, especially in, like, progressive political circles, consciousness around what was going on.
Yeah, especially like Darfur.
Yeah, I remember that was huge,
right?
Yeah. George Clooney.
I'm just like, I just wondering, like, America, and I just feel like around the world, like, as conflicts come up, like, it becomes, which is good, you know, I'm not saying that that's not bad, but it's just something I noticed of, like, kind of every few years, it's a new conflict that, like, the world is activated about, and people learn and educate themselves, and, like, some people stay with that cause for the rest of their lives, and, like, another different cause comes by, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just interesting. And also, like, it sucks to think of fucking war and famine
Right, in
as
terms
a
of that.
trend.
Yeah, but it's
But
also
like,
it
that's
is
how-
interesting that certain things have like moments in time where, unfortunately, for lack of a better word, the cause is trendy. Because obviously,
Yeah.
like, these are real people going through real things. Like, I don't want to talk about this stuff like it's memes, but there are like, like if you think back to like the 90s, it's like free Tibet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Myanmar,
Yeah.
free and Sue. I can't even remember. But there was like a
Aung
political.
San Suu
Yeah,
Kyi.
yeah.
Yeah. Like people, like causes will burst in popularity and whatever, and you can't. I mean, it's obviously good for attention to get put on them, but
Yeah.
it's also like how strange it must be for the people that are involved to be like, oh, everyone's like buying T-shirts about us. Oh, they forgot about us. You know?
Yeah, but I guess I'm like, yeah, I guess that's an interesting question because then I'm like, there will always be people that will stick
That
to
stick it out. Yeah.
and those people wouldn't have found out about it
If
without
it
the
hadn't.
mask thing.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I'm viewing it.
No, you're sure you're right.
But like, yeah, I wonder, and also the creation of this organization, basically, these 3 college students, Jason Russell, Bobby Bailey, Lauren Poole, they traveled to Africa in 2003 to try to make a documentary of the war in Darfur. And again, Russell, so like them being in this area, basically they couldn't make the documentary because like it was so fucking crazy and hot for them.
Yeah.
Like there, that they basically met a kid and then asked him his story, and then that's how this whole shit started.
Yeah.
I'll read like the official thing, but like that's the broad strokes.
When I was in high school, I wrote a poem about Darfur, and I thought it was really good. And I would have to say, I'm glad that it's not out in the world.
Oh my god, that's why I'm like, I like.
Like,
I'm so
like
glad
16 and I'm like, yeah, exactly. That it was just something that I had turned in an English class and not like.
I had a book of poetry. Like, I'm just,
Yeah.
I can't.
I was coming from a good place.
No, but like,
But I don't need my poem about Darfur
No, we don't need your poem.
to be out.
Russell, okay. So Russell, the main guy, just graduated film school at USC, University of Southern California, after hearing from locals and gunmen that gunmen had shot at the truck in front of him while driving in northern Uganda. That's when he learned about Joseph Kony and the Lord's Resistance Army. After the incident, the group decided instead to focus on the civil war affecting the region. After returning home to the United States, the group created a documentary titled Invisible Children, The Rough Cut, which aims to expose the plight of child soldiers and night commuters of northern Uganda. The film was originally shown to groups of friends and family, but eventually reached millions. The 3 believed that the world was unaware of the conditions in Uganda and the plight of children they met there. The young men set out on a mission to expose what they had witnessed in Uganda, streaming the film at hundreds of high schools, colleges, churches throughout the United States. In 2004, the group founded Invisible Children, Inc. as a non-profitable charitable organization. They solicit donations and sell merch, such as bracelets, t-shirts, posters, to raise money for the cause. The money they raise is used in part to produce awareness films and for humanitarian aid in northern Uganda. So kind of their kind of model was they made this thing, then they made these little documentaries. They would and this is kind of like my understanding from my research. They made the first documentary. They would screen it kind of to their friends and family and be like, donate to us. Then that would fund their next trip to go and shoot more and make another thing. And then my understanding too, that there was not like much on this, but I do remember this, is that they had bracelets. Well, the bracelets, that's what's spoken about.
Yeah.
And with each documentary, they made a different bracelet, like that was a different color. I guess they used kind of like that bracelet color trend.
Yeah.
And like they said, like these bracelets were handmade by these Ugandan women who were like mothers, and this is also helping them. So, and like, and when I was in college, and like the reason why somebody in my college, dropped out and joined was basically like, it got so big, the movement got so big that kids would, like people would tour it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So we had like an official Invisible Children representative, and they're like really hot guys. I don't even know if it was the original.
So they would like come screen the documentary at your school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they would have all the merch
rings a
with
bell.
them. And they would, not a QR code, but you would have like the website and all this stuff. So it's like, yeah, it's kind of like not a pyramid scheme pitch, but it was like an interesting thing that like I had never experienced in that way about a cause before.
Yeah.
Like you kind of always, as an American teen, always kind of have something in the background of like, stuff is going on in Africa and stuff, you know? And
Yeah.
I remember experiencing this, like my college, because it was super tiny, but also like they only allocated funds to like, there was only classes about like Asia, maybe a little bit about Europe and Latin America, but there was like nothing about like Africa or the African region or anything. And so like, I just remember that, yeah, like we should be learning about this. And I started a petition with other people. And I just remember like, not that Invisible Children activated, but that was an impact that I just remember.
Well, yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know if
I don't remember interacting with Invisible Children prior to the Kony stuff, but I do remember this cause being like something that I was aware of, and so it must have been via them, whether it was that they came to our school or had like a chapter, because like at UD there were like a gazillion clubs, so it wouldn't surprise me if there was like an Invisible Children club on campus where maybe I would see stuff. But I also feel like, and I think this is probably maybe the big documentary that we're about to talk about, I remember seeing it online.
Yeah. Well, that is like 10 documentary, or like not 10, but like 8.
But this is how they started.
It started kind of like, I guess, kind of grassroots. And I mean, it makes sense. I went to college in Southern California, and my college, these guys are all based in San Diego.
Oh.
And my college was in Orange County, right in between LA and San Diego. So, and we got the presentation in 2008.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this all makes sense of like, they were going around, but I'm just like, it's interesting even to see how something went viral in that time, how they, whatever.
Yeah, that is interesting.
So in 2007, they organized an event called Displace Me, in which 67,000, this also sounds like, in which 67,000 activists throughout the United States slept in streets in makeshift cardboard villages, hoping to raise awareness about those displaced by the Ugandan government. Later in 2007, American rock band Fall Out Boy filmed a music video for the song I'm Like a Lawyer with the Way I'm Always Trying to Get You Off, parentheses, me and you, in Uganda after hearing of the organization. I know I had
to. I'm sorry.
What is the most 2007 like
Fall Out Boy?
Yes.
Filmed a music video for the song
I'm Like a Lawyer with the Way I'm Always Trying to Get You Off, parentheses, me and you, in Uganda after hearing about Invisible Children.
It's funny to remember that the world really was like we lived in a world where that was happening. And it's like, yeah, Fall Out Boy did their video in Uganda to raise awareness about Invisible Children.
And it worked! That's why I'm like, guys, this worked. Okay, Fall Out Boy originally intended to create a documentary-style film, but decided to focus on a love story between two Ugandan children, opining that the treatment seemed, quote, a lot more dangerous and compelling. I mean, have you ever seen a love story between Ugandan people, especially with a rock band on TRL?
I mean, no, you're right. I haven't seen a love story between Ugandan people with a rock band on TRL. I haven't.
Yeah, and Invisible Children co-founder Bobby Bailey, they got basically like, they got a bunch of awards. In 2008, Invisible Children was rewarded with Human Security Award, the People Voice Webby Award, an award from the American Advertising Federation, received a Summit Award. These are big, like, marketing and messaging awards. Like, people are recognizing they're very powerful messaging. So again, yeah, like they have, just already they were, getting a lot of press. Like 2009, they won some Digitara awards. They won the Stay Classy Award, Most Effective Awareness campaign in 2010 and 2011. And the LRA Crisis Tracker, that was also a different thing, right? They were using, so it was like this documentary storytelling. The fact that they would go to campus and have, like, again, these young, hot, white
Yeah.
surfer San Diego guys talk about a cause in
Yeah.
another country, like that engaged people. I bet you there's
That's what
like
that's what fucking
Abercrombie-
Hillsong Church does. It's like they
Exactly.
send out hot, young, cool-looking people, and they're like, "Hey, have you heard about Jesus Christ?" And
Yeah.
and people are like, "No, tell me about Jesus Christ."
Exactly.
Like,
So that's what was happening. And then also they were using like cutting edge marketing tactics for a charitable cause, which is just, I think, was groundbreaking at
Yeah.
the time. No one has thought to do that.
and like in a current, like millennial way too. Like it was spreading. I don't know. I feel like I'm already getting the sense that it's like this campaign was very specifically targeted to our generation
Yeah.
and to like resonate with our generation, and it like fucking did.
And as I was thinking, like the 67,000 kids who slept in cardboard stuff, I'm just thinking like, yeah, like that's what these kids did with the Palestine protests in their colleges. I'm like, that's kind of a way that kids protest.
Yeah. People did that. I mean, that even goes back way early. Like in the 60s and 70s, they would do like die-ins and stuff and like lay on the ground to represent like everyone dead in Vietnam. Like that's like, it's taking classic activism things, but then like bringing it to the young people of now.
And it's a new or a different conflict that wasn't from before. But it's also interesting because even like in my college, that's like supposedly so progressive, when these Black students did die-ins and they did it at the board of trustees meeting, which, and the people are like, why did they do it like that? Why did this and that? Like, why are they dying? That's so violent. Like, that's so weird. And it's like, that's how people always like.
There's a long tradition of that.
But also, I'm like, they're not gonna do some shit that's like not disruptive.
Well, but that is always the funniest critique of protest to me is like, well, why was it disruptive? And it's like, that's literally the point of doing it, is that you disrupt the normal flow of operations to try to bring attention to, or literally stop something from happening.
Yeah.
It's very funny when it's like, they caused traffic.
I know.
They caused traffic. It's like
people are pissed about this thing.
That's the point. They wanted to cause traffic. Yeah.
People are pissed about this thing. So let's talk about the actual Kony film.
Mm-hmm.
So the film starts off like, we can't watch it. It's only 30 minutes and it is on YouTube. So basically, like, for probably, the original doc was made in 2003. They started Invisible Children in 2004. All the way to like 2012, they have this big campaign going. They are experienced. They know how to make stuff. They know whatever, but like it's their first one that they posted online.
Okay.
So now it's a different thing because they could always control.
Yeah, but also they've probably been building a following online by doing, like, they already have followers and stuff to like spread. You know what I mean? It's like I wouldn't have been surprised if I was in the Invisible Children Facebook group at that time, or was like following them in some capacity. Yeah, exactly. Like if they were in my feed in some.
Or you like their page.
Yeah, exactly. Like whatever version of Facebook it was at that time, like I probably would have engaged with that.
Well, this is early Twitter when all the celebrities were on there. So that's also something too, which we'll get into. But so this is like I'm trying to see, they've made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Kony 2012 is their 11th documentary.
Wow.
And again, every documentary has a different color bracelet. So like, if you were really cool with invisible children, you'd have all the colors stacked.
Yeah.
Because that's when stacked bracelets were
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
But like, each bracelet was like $25, handmade by some Ugandan woman or whatever. So yeah. So the film starts off with like this guy, Jason Russell, and he's like, life is interesting. Like, I'm Jason and I love to be blah, blah. And like, here's like the most important day of my life. And he shows like footage of his like first son being born and like super cut. And he's like, and you know, then like my son has it easy. And like, it shows like his first steps and like him teaching his son how to ride a bike, like just really like, you know, and like, luckily my son has it easy, but like not everybody grew up.
And it's like,
my son. Yeah. And he's like, here's Joseph, who we met 10 years ago when he was a runaway child soldier. And it showed the original like thing. And it showed like how over the past 10 years, they've helped Joseph. And like also all the like fucked up shit that Joseph saw. And all the things that Invisible Children has accomplished and all this stuff, right? So, it explains the whole conflict, explains who Joseph Kony is, and then it leads on this call to action. So now we are going to watch 2 minutes of the documentary Kony 20. And yeah, like.
Yeah, as you're describing that, I'm seeing so many pieces. Like I'm remembering, oh yeah, that was the beginning of the documentary. And then that was how it all got explained. And I'm kind of like seeing visuals of like maps that they have that they would be like, this is where they explain the conflict, kind of like you did up top. And then Joseph Kony's face.
We've come so far, but Kony is still out there. He's recently changed his tactics, making it even more difficult to capture him. And international support could be removed at any time.
If we take the pressure off, if we're not successful, he is going to be growing his numbers. People forget, and you got to remind them, and it takes numbers to remind them. And if interest wanes, then it'll go away. And I'd end up standing out there alone trying to do something to support completing the mission. It's got to be 2012.
It's not bad for the youth, it's bad for the world if we fail. It's not important just for Ugandan people, it's important for everyone.
It's hard to look back on some parts of human history. Because when we heard about injustice, we cared, but we didn't know what to do. Too often, we did nothing. But if we're going to change that, we have to start somewhere. So we're starting here with Joseph Kony. Because now we know what to do. Here it is. Ready? In order for Kony to be arrested this year, the Ugandan military has to find him. In order to find him, they need the technology and training to track him in the vast jungle. That's where the American advisors come in. But in order for the American advisors to be there, the US government has to deploy them. They've done that, but if the government doesn't believe the people care about arresting Kony, the mission will be canceled. In order for the people to care, they have to know. And they will only know if Kony's name is everywhere. This is the dream. Kony arrested for all the world to see. And the abducted children returned home.
Here's the biggest problem. You want to know what it is?
Yeah.
Nobody knows who he is.
But he knows. But I know who he is.
So, and that was his kid.
His kid at
That
the
he's like,
end.
yeah.
I mean, very affecting.
Yeah.
They do show a lot of shots of like Hitler, the Holocaust, then
De-
skulls, dead bodies.
Dead
It
black
was
people,
yeah, like
alive
it was
white
intense.
people.
It was intense.
Like shocking imagery.
Yeah. Yeah.
That has 103,626,956 views.
Woo! You
And
did
that-
that.
And
You
that
read
was,
that number.
Thank you. And that was released 13 years ago. This is like the original video. And Invisible Children, and it has 1.3 million likes. Like, and again, we're talking about view inflation and all that.
Yeah. I mean, it is. I'm trying to like receive it in the way I would have received it then, because I remember feeling inspired by it then. But watching it now, I guess one of my big things was just like, so the last shot is just someone putting up the Kony poster. And I'm like, so the plan was just for us to like put up a bunch of posters?
The plan was awareness.
Yeah.
And like to put pressure on the U.S. government to deploy more soldiers, which is.
Yeah. To not get it canceled, it seems like. Because there was that part where it's like, they have to deploy soldiers. They've done that. But they're going to cancel it if no one cares. Yeah. Which isn't a bad cause. But it was just like, I don't know. I guess I was thinking that maybe there was some more concrete ask than to just like put up all the posters.
And like, I think for this, like when you go to, when they had the actual in-person kind of shit at your colleges, it was like, give us money or volunteer.
Yeah.
Or buy this bracelet or buy merch. This seems like, because it was released to YouTube, seemed like
it was to be like, yeah, the ask was to share, which does make, I mean, again, first of all,
but
I don't
want to
be
criticism that people have. That's so funny that was your first.
Well, I'm kind of going back and forth, because it's like, I don't want to sit here and say an awareness campaign is not valuable about something. You know what I mean? Like, there is a degree to which getting awareness around an issue is actually important, like for people to know, because otherwise, how are people going to know? But I don't know, it is funny the degree to which it like gives you this insanely intense information and then asks you to do such a, like, it's really just asking you to repost a link at the end of the day. And how good, I don't know. I guess it's making me think about just like the era of Twitter activism and people like the online slacktivists or whatever. It's like, how it makes you feel like, oh, okay, well, all I have to do is repost this video and this man will be arrested.
Yeah. So that's interesting, right? So in 2022, there is like I don't know if it's retrospective, but like there's an interview with the guy, which we're going to say a lot for, this podcast. But 10 years later, looking back at Kony 2020, and basically it's like in the context of this movement, it was the first of its kind, right? At a time when, a constant stream of videos on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter is illustrating. So this was built. Sorry. This article is from 2022, so that's when the Ukraine-Russia war had just started.
Yeah.
So basically, it's like we constantly see destruction and all that shit of Ukrainian cities by Russia. Like, this film reads both as like a relic of what experts have described as a techno-optimistic post-Arab Spring digital landscape and precursor to an era of seemingly endless footage of violence and conflict on social media.
I mean, yeah. And to think about that's being written from a perspective of Ukraine. They haven't even, Gaza hasn't even happened.
Worse. Yeah.
Yeah. And
in Ukraine, we're not seeing like blown up bodies of kids. Like, and it's not to say that that's not happening, but there is something about
different.
The respect that people have.
Well, there's that. And also, even more on TikTok, it's like I get, as you're scrolling through TikTok, you'll get a video that's like literally a person being like, help me, I'm in Gaza and like I need to feed my family. And it's very like, I mean, it's extremely complicated, but it's like disturbing to engage in social media and be like, oh my God,
every day. Whereas like that was the first of its kind then. And like people, that's, the Arab Spring was when people really started using social media. It's like, actually, we're not just going to use it to like share pictures of each other. We want to like make this.
We can like organize a revolution on social media and shit. Well, and it's also interesting because there was this like optimistic tone around the Arab Spring that I think is very Obama goggles.
Yeah.
As we say, it's very Hamiltonian.
Yeah, that's what people say too. So the film clearly struck a chord with viewers, tapping into what Jonah Berger, this is from the retrospective article, a marketing professor at the Wharton School of University of Pennsylvania and an author of Contagious, Why Things Catch On. So they referred to why it went viral or something as steps, social currency, triggers, emotion, public practical value, and story. Like that's like kind of the acronym for why this shit hit, And these factors appeal to our psychological makeup and basic human motivations. So again, that's one expert that says that this is why it went off. Eric Meyerson, the former head of partner marketing at YouTube, said that at the time, Kony 2012 leaned on the emotional qualities of the internet's most resonant videos. In the first 3 minutes of the film, include footage of the Arab Spring and a child riding his bike for the first time. So it's like they're pulling it, right?
Yeah. A lot of pathos.
Right? So when this came out, Oprah Winfrey tweeted Kony 2012. And
yeah. I mean, Oprah, it's like, it is crazy, like the amount of power that Oprah has wielded for such a long time. But it's like, yeah, no, that's huge. Oprah tweeted Kony 2012. So
they said that after Oprah tweeted Kony 2012, the video views went from 66,000 to 9 million. And again, view inflation. According to Gilad Lotan, a data scientist who compiled a visual analysis of its spread, of Kony 2012 spread. Justin Bieber, Rihanna, and Kim Kardashian shared it too.
This is the start of Kim's activism.
Exactly. In the week, the video had 100 million, a record on YouTube at the time, and Mr. Kony had become the target of a global civilian manhunt. So 100, right now I said it was 103 million. 100 million of those views were in the week. Like,
wow.
In that week, right?
Wow.
So in 2013, Kony 2012 was awarded a Digital Campaign of the Year award at South by Southwest. So this is what Jason Russell has to say about it at the time now, or like close to now. They were videos that they were the videos that we at YouTube were trying to promote at the time to submit for Webbies, the kinds of videos that would inspire good feelings, which are what bring people to the platform, Mr. Meyerson said. Again, that's what he's talking about. Kony 2012 was exactly what YouTube was trying to push,
At that time.
And he added that in some cases, viewers were left with the feeling that by consuming and sharing content, quote, they were helping to change the world. Comparing that to now, he says, then we had the rise of fake news, Brexit, Trump's election, he said. And all of a sudden, by the end of 2016, it went from social media can change the world for the better to Facebook and YouTube and Twitter are destroying democracy. The conversations that soon followed were focused on algorithms, echo chambers, and post-truth politics. So that's exactly what you were saying.
Yeah.
Was like Obama goggles, but Obama goggles were that people can use social media for good.
Yeah.
And post-Trump is like, and all this, and the Cambridge Analytica channel, like all that shit is like, oh, people are using social media, just like people use it for good. They're manipulating and purposefully using it for evil.
Yeah, and
making money from
it. And those people, I think, have been extremely successful.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even like we've got this, but we have opponents who would try to use the powers for evil. It's like they have achieved enormous power and success using social media for its like dark purposes.
And it's kind of tough because there were moral complications to fight the evil with evil. You know what I mean? It's like it's taken so many people like so much time to catch up because everyone who's doing it for good is like moral. So
I know. So you don't get in the minds of whatever, the killer or whatever. And then it's like, yeah, but he's in your mind.
Okay. So those were kind of the positive effects. Now we're going to talk about like the backlash to Kony 2012. And basically, I'm going to give you like a few major criticisms of Invisible Children. Then I'm going to give you the information. I'm going to ask you,
what do I think?
What do you think? Okay. Like, do you think it sounds serious?
Okay.
And maybe I have them in order of insidiousness. I don't know. This is just how it came out. So, right. The positive we told, they did get Obama to, or even before Kony 2012, Obama signed some shit. Yeah. Which is what they were saying.
Wasn't there a rally component or something?
I mean, I think that was the
poster? Like, we all put the posters up on the same day? I don't know. I feel like there was like a day that everyone was going to go, like, put up Kony posters or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, that could be true.
Sounds correct.
Sounds correct.
Yeah.
So, the first criticism is that Invisible Children misuses their funds, right? That's like the big one, right? So, they publish their financials, right? And like, at the time, okay, this is kind of an overview. Scrutiny of the distribution of the organization funds have also emerged specifically due to information reported by charity watch group Charity Navigator. So it's this website that basically reviews charities, kind of like audits them and sees like, where's your money going? How are they using it? They give them like a rating out of 5 stars. Like, is this place a scam? Right? Yeah. So Charity Navigator currently has Invisible Children rated 3 out of 4 stars overall, 2 out of 4 in the category of financial, and 4 out of 4 in the category of accountability and transparency. Other critics claim that the group spends most of the money they connect from their charity on staff salaries and, quote, making films that attract publicity but don't do much to help people on the ground, quote. The organization responded to critiques of its spending by providing a breakdown of its finances on the website, which claimed that 80% of its money was spent on its mission, with 16% going to administration and management costs. You can go today and see they make like a yearly report. So I saw that and whatever.
Yeah.
And then somebody said, the charity, this kind of number was going around showing like how many people contributed, right? So like they made $10 million. They got $3 million in revenue, and their total revenue is $13 million. And their expenses, they use about $8 million or almost $9 million in expenses. And then they have each of them, this is like the big sticking point, was like Ben, Jason, and Lauren, they showed their compensation, and it was the highest one is Jason Russell making $89,000 a year. Okay. $669,000 a year. I'm gonna say like they use this like I'm gonna read this clip from Vice.
Okay.
Actually. And then
because I'm like, do people think that's too much?
This is an article from the titled by Alex Miller titled, Should I Donate to Invisible Children? It's impossible to understand everything about Invisible Children's motives by analyzing these figures alone. 89 grand does seem like a sweet wage, but does that matter so much? That his expenses are high compared to his revenue isn't too surprising either. The Kony 2012 manifesto is to raise awareness. People are donating to raise the profile of the Ugandan plight. And overnight, thanks to a film on YouTube, millions more people were made aware of it. Success then. Again, so Russell, again, $89,000, I calculated in 2011, is about $128,000 now. So, again, not nothing, but
Yeah, I mean, it's like, would I love to be making $128,000 a year? Yeah, that'd be great.
but that's not like,
But yeah, but I don't feel like I guess it's not a number that's giving like I'm squeezing this charity for all it's worth type thing.
and again, when people criticize them, they're like, we spend 80% of funds on programs, 16% on funds on administration and management, and 3% on fundraising. That's what they said. That's what their numbers provide. That's what these numbers say, like the ones that Vice published. It also is just like, yeah, I mean, should they maybe be like, I guess people are upset. And then people were like, they have a bad Charity Navigator score. They have a bad Charity Navigator score. Charity Navigator, I looked it up, right? Invisible Children, their overall score is 51.52, which is bad out of 100. But then they're showing that, like, the best comparison, right? Camfied USA, Shared Interest at New York, St. Boniface, Haiti Foundation, Beyond Borders. Those are different charities that are similar.
Yeah.
And their scores are, the highest is 65.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's comparative to, I guess, the standard.
Yeah, like it's not, I mean, they're clearly not doing amazing by what Charity Navigator standards are, but they're also like not so far below.
And this is what Kony 2012 says on their website. The campaign generated a wave of generous support for our work. The net proceeds from the Kony 2012 campaign amounted to approximately $12.6 million. In the 16 months following Kony 2012, Invisible Children invested more than $13.7 million directly to its on-the-ground programs in Central and East Africa. These funds went to an expansion of a community-run early warning system in LRA-affected areas of DRC and CRA. Come Home radio campaigns to encourage LRA fighters to peacefully surrender, the construction of a trauma healing and reintegration center for formerly abducted children in DRC, and education scholarships for war-affected youth in northern Uganda. So, yeah, I also will say that, just to reiterate, the thing is, like, I think a big criticism is people are like, do we need to be giving these guys money instead of just giving it directly to these people? They're wasting all their money on documentaries and this campaign and shit instead of like actually giving it to. So like when it's so what do you think?
But I guess, is it wasted money on documentaries if the documentaries are bringing in the $12 million at the end of the day? You know what I mean? It's like the $12 million wouldn't have come without the documentaries. So if a little bit of that goes into making more documentaries, I mean, yeah, that seems to be their method. That's the method of their organization. If you don't think that's the best method, no, don't donate to them. But I don't think it's like not a valid means of like activism, I guess. I guess the biggest question is, where is Joseph Kony?
Oh, he's still
out and about?
Yeah, but
so we never got Joseph Kony.
No, but I still have like 4 more criticisms.
Okay.
But whatever. Okay. So somebody, so that's one thing. So you're saying not that bad.
Yeah, I mean, as far as
not like exploiting again, and think about what you thought about when you came in, which is my point, right? Is like, oh, okay, like, is this like, are they doing it perfectly or something? No, but I'm like, wow, I remember this being like, they were fucking on yachts and would, all this.
Yeah, no, that's like, I would have thought that he was paying himself like $1 million or something. I don't know what like a owner of a nonprofit salary should be. My understanding is it's not like normally a hugely lucrative line of work, but $128,000 isn't the most outrageous like corporate
Yeah.
like grift I've heard of, I guess.
I'm sure that they're expensing the cars, the house, like the
Yeah.
flights, that they have miles. I mean, but as they should, like they're making this shit. They're using nice cameras.
Yeah.
They're using
They're
this,
going.
like they're going. Like, you know, hey, I bet you they took Fall Out Boy there. Like, so
They got Fall Out Boy. They got Fall Out Boy.
So, I know. So that's one criticism, and you say at least that's not that bad. Another criticism. They're criticized for, quote, oversimplifying the issue. So
Okay.
the organization has been criticized for oversimplifying a complex and multifaceted issue. Of major concern is that U.S. troops are already deployed in an operation that should be secret. The attention that is being brought to the region is being brought, and this is from somebody who's like, don't give these people fucking money.
Okay.
The attention that is being brought to the region now may actually do harm. It is assumed that Joseph Kabila, the president of the Congo, would not respond favorably to foreign troops crossing his borders. For this reason, the attention that the Kony 2012 film is bringing could incite violence. Quote, if you want to catch Kony, I can't think of a dumber thing to do, said Africa expert Peter Pham. The response at the time was following the release of the film Kony 2012, the group asserted that it hoped to explain the conflict in a, quote, easily understandable format, with CEO Ben Kesey adding that, quote, there are few times where problems are black and white. There are lots of complicated stuff in the world, but Joseph Kony and what he's doing is black and white. That's what Ben said at the time, and then this is what Russell said in the 2022 article. The top criticism that I have read over the years is the oversimplification of a complex issue, Mr. Russell said. To that I would say, I hear you, but to make something go viral, our goal was to simplify a complex issue. That's what you have to do. In a sense, it's meant as criticism, but I saw it as a compliment. What say you about the allegation? Visible children
kind of agree with what Russell just said. I think it's a 30-minute documentary. No, it's not gonna do everything. I think there is a personal responsibility to like look into stuff on your own. Like you as a viewer should know that, okay, this was a 30-minute documentary. There's probably more information that I could seek out if I so chose. Like yeah, it was a video designed to go viral. I guess my question is, if it was an oversimplification that was somehow like became misinformation, that's different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I don't think that that's what they're saying here.
Well,
or is that the next criticism?
The next criticism is that Invisible Children lies. So according to an article published by the Council on Foreign Relations, quote, in their campaign, such organizations as Invisible Children have manipulated facts for strategic purposes, exaggerating the scale of LRA abductions and murders, and emphasizing the LRA's use of innocent children as soldiers, and portraying Kony, a brutal man to be sure, as uniquely awful, a Kurtz-like embodiment of evil. So the Council of Foreign Relations is like, yeah, he's bad, but you guys are making him sound like he's the worst person out there. And then this is a criticism of that, a criticism of the lie thing, you citing the Council of Foreign Relations. This is like a blog post from the time. So this is what this person said. Still, the bulk of Invisible Children's spending isn't on supporting African militias, but on awareness and filmmaking, which can be great, except the Foreign Affairs has claimed that Invisible Children, among others, manipulates facts. Again, so he's certainly evil, but exaggeration and manipulation to capture the public eye is unproductive, unprofessional, and dishonest.
But what are the exaggerated facts that he's saying there are more children abducted than there are?
I think that my understanding from the criticism is that they are framing it like this is the worst dictator out there, and they're making it Because they're not saying that the guy's good and he's not bad. They're not saying that. They're saying that, oh, Invisible Children is like exaggerating the facts to manipulate. But I'm just like,
Well, I guess once we look at like Invisible Children's history, right? It's their goal was to try to stop the LRA and and like rehabilitate child soldiers in Uganda. So for their organization, yeah, he is the number one bad guy in the world. That is his thing. I also do feel like at the end they do kind of say like there are a lot of bad people in this world, but we're going to focus on this one. Like that is in the piece of the documentary that we just watched. Sure, there are other horrible warlords, I'm sure. There are other horrible world leaders. We know of them.
Yeah.
Like many, many evil people causing harm for sure. I guess to me, I'm like, it's not, I don't know. And it maybe it's an exaggeration, but it's not like a lie. Like, it's not like they're saying like, oh, he's doing this stuff and he's not actually doing it.
Exactly.
Or like, you know what I mean?
And I'm not just saying like in Obama goggles, this is a huge offense, but now like 2025, it's like, it's hard to be like, I'm like, yeah, okay, but everyone kind of like.
Also, so you want the documentary to be like
completely objective, no, like,
but also for the documentary to say like, he's not the worst guy in the world, but he's a pretty bad guy in comparison to these other guys. Like,
he's only raped and killed 20 people.
Yeah,
and
he's only enslaving children,
but not that many.
But it's actually not the most children. Like this is a documentary. It's a piece of media that is designed to elicit an emotional response to get people to do an action. I don't think it's like evil I feel like the things they call the documentary out for, I'm like, yeah, it's a piece of persuasive media. Maybe that's just me coming at it from
2025.
From 2025 and us as writers and people who make and work with films and whatever. But I'm just like, yeah, it's a documentary that's supposed to persuade you to try to get the U.S. government to go after this guy. So they're not going to like
tell you that other things. Yeah. And it's also just like, it's the same argument to me. It's the same side of the coin of like, you oversimplified it. And it's like, yeah, like that's kind of the point of.
Sometimes that's how conversation, what do you mean? What do you mean? It's a 30-minute documentary. How deep do you want it to go? Where do you want it to go that it didn't go or whatever? If you think something really crucial was left out, that's different. If something was actually wrong or factually inaccurate, that's different.
That's tough. That's the tough thing because it's like everyone who says it, they're like, this guy's bad. And it's like, okay,
so you agree he's bad. Then what's the problem with, I guess, us trying to get him?
So
not that and he's fine. They didn't get him, so he's out.
So we just have two more criticisms and then we'll wrap it up. But this is kind of like where it gets a little bit more like, okay, to me at least, I'm like, all right, this criticism's a little fair. And that is that this is a racially weird situation. So this is from an article criticizing this movement. As Chris Blattman, a political scientist at Yale, writes on the topic of Invisible Children's programming, quote, there's something inherently misleading, naive, maybe dangerous even, about the idea of rescuing children or saving of Africa. It hints uncomfortably at the, quote, at the white man's burden. Worse, sometimes it does more than hint. The savior attitude is pervasive in advocacy and it inevitably shapes programming, usually misconceived programming. Then this is like another segment. So there are a few famous TV documentaries about Africa by the likes of Basil Davidson and Ali Mazrui. The funny thing about these shows is that they are less about Africa than they are about Davidson or Mazrui. The new Invisible Children film clip feels much the same, laced with more macho bravado. The movie feels like it's about the filmmakers and not the cause. There might be something to the argument that the American teenagers are more likely to relate to an issue through the eyes of a peer. That's the argument that was made after the first film. It's not entirely convincing, especially given the distinctly non-teenage political influence Invisible Children now has. The Cavalier first film did the trick. Maybe it's time to start acting like grown-ups. There's also something inherent. Yeah. Okay. There's also something inherently misleading, naive, maybe even dangerous about the idea of rescuing or saving of Africa. One consequence, whether it's Invisible Children or Save Darfur, is a lot of dangerously ill-prepared young people embarking on missions to save the children of this or that war zone. At its best, it's hubris and egocentric. More often, though, it leads to bad programs, misallocated resources, or ill-conceived military adventures. There's lots of room for intelligent advocacy. There are a few other things that are troubling. It's questionable whether one should be the faces of child soldiers on film. And watching the film, one gets the sense that the U.S. and Invisible Children were instrumental in getting the peace talks to happen. These things diminish credibility more than anything. So that's kind of like one criticism. And this is Vice, again, with by Alex Miller, Should I Donate to Invisible Children? And this is what he says. Now, when I first watched the Kony 2012 video, there was a horrible pang of self-knowledge as I finally grasped quite how shallow I am. I found it impossible to completely overlook the smug indiness of it all. It reminded me of a manipulative technology advertisement, or the Kings of Leon video where they party with black families, or the 30 Seconds of Mars video where all the kids talk about how Jared Leto's music saved their lives. I mean, watch the first few seconds of this Kony 2012 again. It's pompous twaddle with no relevance to fucking anything. However, the central message to stop this cunt, Kony, from killing and raping innocent children in their thousands is a very powerful one. So I looked beyond my snobbery.
I think that hits the nail on the head of this kind of hard to pin down, other than what that writer just wrote. Yeah, I almost want to call it like an indie sleaze that's on it. Like, it's like, it does have this, again, like white Obama bro, tech bro,
like
San
racism.
Francisco energy, where they're like, I'm just going to save it. Like, I know what I'm going to do, and I'm just going to save it. And honestly, all these black people don't know what they're doing.
They're just fighting each other. They just need white people to
And
come
actually,
in.
what they just need is for me to put up me look at my fucking cool posters. I'm just going to post, and I'm just going to put up the posters, and then we're going to get it.
I mean,
and there is an energy of that on it where when I was watching it, I was like, something about this is giving me an ick a little bit. But then again, as they said, the cause is a legitimate cause.
Yeah.
Like, of course I don't want there to be child soldiers who are being sexually and abused and killed and violated and all these ways. Of course I don't fucking want that.
Yeah.
And of course, if there's some guy who's in charge of doing that, like, yeah, definitely arrest him.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you say on that? So you're like,
I hear that.
And there's racial. Yeah, you hear
I hear that.
I
hold space for the slurs. I'm holding space for that criticism. I think that one has legs for sure.
Yeah.
There's something about it.
And this is kind of the final big criticism that I'm curious how you feel and how you hold space for this one. And it's that Invisible Children supports kind of like Ugandan government intervention, right? So this is from one thing that this group is in favor of direct military intervention, and their money supports the Ugandan government's army and various other military forces. Both the Ugandan army and Sudan People's Liberation Army are riddled with accusations of rape and looting, but Invisible Children defends them, arguing that the Uganda army is, quote, better equipped than any of the other affected countries. Although Kony is no longer active in Uganda and hasn't been since 2006, by their own admission, these books each refer to the rape and sexual assault that are perennial issues with the... So basically, it's like they're participating with the Ugandan army and Sudan's People Liberation Army, who both use child soldiers and rape kids. And also, like, because of all the heat that the Kony, from the beginning, from the original Invisible Children doc, Kony's not even in Uganda anymore.
Yeah.
And they're using, and then this author named Grant Oyston, he kind of links to this book that refers to, kind of the rape and sexual assault that are issues with that Ugandan government, the military group Invisible Children is defending. He's like, here are 3 books about it. But this is also what he says. Still, Kony's a bad guy, and he's been around a while, which is why the U.S. has been involved in stopping him for years. U.S. Africa Command, AFRICOM, has sent multiple missions to capture or kill Kony over the years, and they've failed time and time again, each provoking a ferocious response and increased retaliative slaughter. The issue with taking a man out who uses a child army is that his bodyguards are children. Any effort to capture or kill him will almost certainly result in many children's death, an impact that needs to be minimized as much as possible. Each attempt brings more retaliation, and yet Invisible Children supports military intervention. Kony has been involved in peace talks in the past, which have fallen through, but Invisible Children is now focusing on military intervention. Military intervention may or may not be the right idea. This is the same guy.
Yeah.
But people supporting Kony 2012 probably don't realize that they're supporting the Ugandan military, who are themselves raping and looting away. If people know this and still support Invisible Children because they feel it's the best solution based on their knowledge and research, I have no issue with that. But I don't think most people are in that position, and that's a problem. And then here's another kind of, in 2019, a documentary released by Jean-Baptiste Renaud, aired on Art, claimed multiple issues concerning the aims and methods of Invisible Children. It was alleged that the NGO cooperated with the Army of Uganda by monitoring rebel movements and collecting reconnaissance from remote villages via the radio programs that they use. The filmmakers further alleged that the organization deliberately named a former local supporter as a coup plotter, alleging to his arrest and torture at the hand of the state. Additionally, the claim of the organization being a grassroots movement was questioned by the filmmakers by exposing numerous financial links with U.S. evangelical fundamentalists.
Ooh.
So,
I mean, I guess
there's one more little controversy, but I want to hear your thoughts on this. I forgot that there was just one more stupid little bit.
My thoughts on this is that I feel a little bit like, okay, with my international relations degree, I do want to hold space for the fact that sometimes to do like NGO work, you do have to parlay with other bad actors. Like there's just kind of in certain situations, there is no perfect actor to be dealing with. But I think what that writer said is correct, that like you should be letting people know or have some kind of answer as to why you've chosen to work with an organization that has similar allegations. Like, what calculation are you making? Is it that basically we couldn't be there at all if we didn't do business with them?
Yeah.
In which case, like, people can know that and feel how they feel about it, because that is the case sometimes in certain places where it's like, yeah, you're not getting in the door unless you're parlaying with some other bad folks.
Yeah, and it's like kind of like, the Ugandan government, at least you can negotiate with them and you can put sanctions. And it's harder to do with someone who's just like rogue in the jungle. I mean, it's interesting, like, right? Like, whatever.
I know. And then it's like the military intervention thing. I mean, I personally feel that military interventions often historically go badly. I also feel like being like, well, he uses child soldiers, so we can't go after them because then he'll kill the child soldiers. I'm like, well, then
no one's gonna go after.
Yeah, it's like that.
Then nothing's gonna change.
But if there are other options available, I do agree again with what the other said, saying that like, but you have to like minimize that as much as possible. So if there are other options available that So that's
It's like, is bringing all this press to it help minimizing that?
yeah, like
Is that and I'm like, that's a fair criticism.
yeah, I definitely feel like it's a fair criticism. I don't know where I personally stand because it's like I haven't looked at I don't know enough about the Ugandan conflict for me to like know if that's right, but that feels like something fair to say.
Yeah. So this another little controversy, and I feel like this resurfaced when Kony 2012 came out, is this photo. And Alise, I want you to describe what we're looking at.
Oh. So this is what I assume have to be the filmmakers.
Yeah,
the
these are the three
filmmakers.
filmmakers of Invisible
And they are standing in front of
the Sudan People's Liberation Army.
okay. And they are holding weaponry. I think one of them looks like a bazooka or something. And then the other one just has like a machine gun. And they're trying to look badass at the camera. And they're looking very millennial in their hair and attire. And yeah, that's going to be a big woof from me.
Yeah, so this thing came out and they're like, look, like they're literally working for the government of Sudan, and the government of Sudan did all this crazy shit. And then like basically what this was, and it was like they was criticizing to these people. Like they were criticizing these people, but like it's like the story behind it was they were on the Sudan-Congo border in April 2008, so like way before this, and they were bored waiting for endless peace talks. Like they were at the peace talks, and those peace talks can be boring. They're standing around for hours, and they're like, let's take a picture. That's what the photographer said. You know what I mean? So, but obviously...
It's giving Hanoi Jane, that Jane Fonda took that picture sitting in like a Viet Cong. Jane Fonda went to Vietnam to try to like raise awareness. And she got in huge, huge trouble that people are still angry with her for to this day because she held a like Viet Cong gun and like sat in like a tank.
Yeah.
And they called her Hanoi Jane. And some people, if you look at videos of Jane Fonda today, there will be at least one old man calling her Hanoi Jane.
That's crazy.
It just reminded me of that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
aside
about Jane Fonda.
Aside about Jane Fonda. So, yeah, that was bad. Not great. So then, just these are like the two. So yeah, basically, it's like the thing is like, is awareness good? It's complex. Okay. I'll just read these two things, right? Is awareness good? This is from somebody who doesn't like Kony 2012. Is awareness good? Yes, but these problems are highly complex, not one-dimensional, and frankly aren't of the nature that can be solved by posturing, filmmaking, and changing your Facebook profile, as hard as that can be to swallow. Giving your money and public support to invisible children so they can spend it on supporting ill-advised, violent intervention and movie number 12 isn't helping. Do I have a better answer? No, I don't. But that doesn't mean that you should support Kony 2012 just because it's something. Something isn't always better than nothing. Sometimes it's worse. If you want to write to your member of parliament or senator or the president or the prime minister, by all means, go ahead. If you want to post about Joseph Kony's crimes on Facebook, go ahead. But let's keep it about Joseph Kony and not Kony 2012. And Gray, this is from a student, a political science student at Arcadia University in Nova Scotia, Canada. And then this is the different point of view from that Vice writer. So then this guy says, now I'm in a bit of a quandary. I'm worried the real reason I went to seek out the downsides of Kony 2012 phenomenon was simply because I'm a snob who enjoys bursting people's bubbles, and because I find the promotional film they made for it embarrassingly produced. What a horrible reason that would be to ignore a charity. The film Kony 2012 began because the filmmakers went to Uganda and met a young boy so traumatized by his experiences that he was contemplating suicide. Confronted with the grotesque reality of the atrocities, the Western filmmakers did what I hope I do and resolved to help, no matter what, with that in mind. Does it matter if they get paid well? Does it matter if they massage the facts? Does it matter that their charity isn't completely accountable? Does it matter that they're naive prats who think it's the white man's job to save Africa? Or is all that just pompous hypothesizing by Westerners with enough freedom information, and education to look down on a simple, kind act? Isn't it better to just stop criticizing and start helping children in need? Or is that the kind of blind interventionist attitude that throws countries like Afghanistan into a very, very long, bloody wars? I don't know.
Oh,
That's
I mean, that hats off to that Vice writer because I
Yeah.
think he fucking nailed it.
Yeah.
Like a couple times, I'm just like, yeah, that's exactly how I feel.
Yeah, so, you know, they go insanely viral. And like a week later, that guy breaks down.
Mhm.
So they find him. He was
The guy who started the
the
company,
guy who started the company, Jason
Reeves
Russell. So
Russell.
this is from that time after Jason Russell, co-founder of the advocacy charity Invisible Children, was detained by San Diego police at 11:30 a.m. So you can find pictures of it. Like it's like broad daylight. Well, I didn't know that. I thought it was at night, but it was at
Mhm.
daylight. Thursday morning for reportedly masturbating in public. TMZ posted the whole fucking video of his alleged breakdown. While it's not confirmed that the naked man, so it was him. He's on psychiatric hold. So it was crazy. So that was another thing of like, and look, they're misusing the thing, and look at this crazy owner. So 6 months later, Jason Russell did this interview with Oprah. We could watch like a 3-minute clip. But I feel like he really explains like kind of what it's like to go viral at the time.
What was going on in your offices at the time?
No one left the office. We had one PR girl who's like a intern volunteer. And she said that she had 4,000 emails no matter what. So she was checking them relentlessly, just going through it, but it never went below 4,000 emails. My phone was getting 10 text messages every second. It was just going. And then it's like, can you take a call from Ryan Seacrest? But can you do this? It was
all the media of the world.
And I was so excited because we were excited to get local news.
And at the time you were doing everything. I mean, in a span of a few days, you were CNN.
I think it was 17 interviews in 48 hours.
Wow.
So it was like 10 in LA, red eye to New York. I couldn't sleep on the plane. I was too excited. By the end of that day, my mind was exhausted. My mind was starting to become so defensive because every chair that I sat in, it was, what about this? And what about that? And what about that?
So the organization has had its fair share of criticism.
Yes. How can you make money out of people's plight? The other one was they've turned people's problems into a business.
This is not about money at all. We don't want the money.
Because what I noticed just from my Twitter feed is it started out with, wow, isn't this great? This is great. This is great. And within 24 hours, people were saying, Oprah, are you sure?
Right.
Yes. Are you sure? Where's the money going?
Right.
Hours after Kony 2012's unprecedented success, public opinion started to shift.
It simplifies a war that is so complex.
Next week, this will be a passing fad. A lot of the questions were directly personal to Jason. It was questions about, why would you put your son in the film? Why didn't you put yourself in the film? It was questions about his sincerity. Our sincerity.
So tell me what that felt like. It's what you wanted. Kony is now famous. He is now famous. And in a matter of 24, 48 hours, people are now attacking you. Did it feel personal?
Oh, so personal. It was so, and I didn't realize it until I went on this one website, like after the media tour.
Why did you do that?
I know. I didn't know. I didn't know.
Why did you
now
do
I
that?
know, but
now you can't read all that crap. Go ahead.
And I just scrolled down the page and I saw the words, and the power of the words are so, they just cut you to the core. And I thought, everyone's hating me, tweeting me, there's a special place in hell for people like you. But it was a strange combination because I was still on the phone with, people who were saying, we're going to do this. We're going to promise you the world, change the Oscars so you can be nominated. And Bono saying amazing things about you.
Yeah. And I mean, I just wanted to give that is, so yeah, what do you think?
I still think getting caught running outside masturbating, there's something else going on there beyond.
No, he broke down.
He
Yeah,
had I mean, I definitely think he had a mental breakdown for sure.
Yeah, he had a mental breakdown, and it's also like, yeah, there's a reason why people don't say yes to everything. Like,
Yeah.
he didn't know and all. You know,
I mean, we talk all the time about like what going viral can do to someone's brain, and like that.
And it was going viral before people. Sorry.
Yeah, just like sudden viral fame is, I think, a very jarring thing. Though I do think I feel a little differently about it than just someone who like like even like a Rebecca Black, where it's like they were trying to launch a global campaign, and like something that happens.
And they were grown people.
They're grown men, and like it's a charity. Like something that happens when you try to launch a global charity is people start asking you hard questions about where the money is going. Like these are all things that suck to experience, and Twitter probably amplifies it, and it's harder to see. But I do think that if you want to be the mouthpiece, a center figure of a documentary, that the point of it is for it to go like your hope, your desire for it to go is to go mega viral. I feel differently about it than someone who just like is randomly who never would have thought that
like a banger.
Yeah, who put a music video up. There's like no precedent. You know what I mean? It's like that I feel a little differently about it, I think.
Yeah, so you know,
well, what a journey.
What a journey. I think now in 2017, United States and Uganda scaled back a mission to capture Mr. Kony, stating that he was no longer like a regional threat. They were reduced, like they said that the LRA had been reduced by 80, or atrocities committed by them were reduced by 80%. And yeah, like today, Invisible Children is focused on local programs in Central Africa. They're not really doing stuff on social media anymore. And the guy, Mr. Russell's like, I still am traumatized by the internet. And I get triggered by it.
Well, I definitely think obviously something very serious happened to him mentally to be like in that state. So that's probably for the best. But I don't know. I guess I come out being like, Kony 2012 is like a little silly and like emblematic of the time, but not bad.
Yeah, and somebody said like there was a Reddit comment that was like, somebody basically wrote this really long Reddit that was basically like, actually in the development world, in the fundraising world, and like the nonprofit world, that's kind of our gold star.
Yeah,
they got all these people who don't know anything to care about it. They did more harm than good. Like, I mean, they did more good than harm. And also other people in the comments were like, it was an interesting conversation because they're like, there are charities all the time that fuck with money. Trump had a charity.
Yeah.
Like, if you compared what Trump's charity did and like that money didn't even go to cancer. And like now to be in the thing of like, there's all these crypto schemes that don't even have that intent to try to help people.
No.
Melania Coin, there's nothing besides Melania making money.
I just can't get incised about a $128,000 salary.
But
you know
even
what I mean?
they're talking about the $12 billion.
Yeah, but even that, like, it's just like, it seems like according to their finances, they've spent it on at least what their organization purported to do, which is making documentaries and trying to go to Uganda. So it seems like that's what they spend the money on.
And also, I'm going to say, and this is what like this Reddit comment said, is like, their job was to like get people away from Joseph Kony.
Yeah.
And not have Joseph Kony terrorize an entire region. And they fucking did it.
So we're part of the creating the situation.
They
whatever.
did part of it.
They did stuff.
On it, so
you know what I mean?
Like, but like Joseph Kony, you're like, is Kony? Did they capture Kony? I'm like,
he faded, kind of faded out. I mean, obviously, I'm sure there's a lot of like complicated things that go into there. But yeah, I guess that's just how I feel. It's a little silly. It reeks of that time period. There's definitely a like bro-y element to it that's a little weird, naive, Obama goggles, all that shit. And at the end of the day, they wanted to raise awareness about someone who is doing a lot of harm, and they did. And maybe that led to some people not becoming child soldiers as a result, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's not
So at least your final countdown was like Kony 2012. Like, there's some stuff where we look into and it's like, whoa, this is worse than I thought, like Jeffree Star. But this is no Jeffree Star. This is like,
No.
oh, it's not as bad.
Yeah, it's not. I thought I was going to be like, oh my God, we got duped to hell with Kony 2012. And it's like, no, not really.
I'm just like, these were like arrogant. Their crime was arrogance a little bit, but also like they eventually figured it out. And also, I'm just like, these were just guys who like wanted to do something good and like fucked up on the way.
Yeah.
And like had so much pressure and didn't have any healthy thing to get to.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I don't know. I'm like, yeah. So that's our
Great.
show. It was super long.
I
Thank you
know.
so much. And until next time,
Go touch grass. Wow.
Go Touch Grass is created and hosted by Alise Morales and Millie Tamares.
Recording and sound production by My Friend's Basement Studio, and our theme song is by Doug Wydick.